Alright, let's start our tutorial with how to create a single button to control a processing sketch. Let's bring up a small processing program. Notice that this is processing 4, although all of this code is equivalent and runs in the same way on processing 3. So we'll take this very tiny little sketch containing a very small amount of code that just creates a bunch of circles like what you see over there, and we want to add a single button to control this animation by clearing the screen whenever we press that button. Our first step in creating a button is to create a small text file specifying that we want to create a button. We want to create a control of type button, and we'll call it clear me, and we will save that file in the same folder as our sketch, calling it template.txt. And there we see it. Okay, and the next step is to submit that file to our web service that will actually do all of the work in constructing the code. And here is the BRC factory. We will upload this template file, and it immediately constructs the PDE file for us, which we will save there. And now we have instantly processing digests that file, and we are almost ready to go. We need to add a little bit of code to our sketch to indicate that messages will come in from someplace, from a web page. And we'll add a little bit more code in a moment. But once we have this running, we can now bring up a tiny little browser file and ask and there we go. We have turned this sketch into a web server. We've just asked that sketch, please deliver us the web page, and it has done that, and here is the clear me button. Now we need to add a little bit more code to indicate what should happen if the clear me button is pressed. So we're going to say string name equals BRC changed. And what that does is it every time the draw function executes, BRC changed asks whether any new messages have come in, and if there is a new message, it will deliver back the name of the control that sent us the message. And if the name equals, in this case, clear me, what should we do? Well, we should simply change the background to a uniform color, which clears the screen. So let's watch this at work. Alright, and now we're going to come down here and press the clear me button, and we can press it again and again, etc. And that is our very first button. Notice that all of the code behind here and all of the communication code behind there was manufactured from that single line in the template file indicating that you wanted to create a single little clear me button. Let's get a little bit more ambitious. Let's add start and stop buttons to our animation to control the animation, and we will then just add to our little template file 2 more lines, start, and of course stop, and we'll save that once more in the same directory. We apply the same technique We upload that file to our factory, and there, and we get a new copy of the vast amount of code. We download this, but we download it carefully to make sure that it overwrites the previous version. And now it's trying not to do that by changing the name, but we will override that, and it says already exists. You want to replace it? Yes, we do. Okay, and now we have an entirely new set of code in here, and we can make use of that. But in addition, let's just start it off. It should still be there, and if we ask for the web page again, all of a sudden we see new buttons, the start and stop buttons. Okay, so now we have to write a little bit of code to actually control the animation from the messages that come in from the start and stop buttons, and that's relatively easy. We create another variable, a Boolean variable called running, and we set it to false immediately, and that will control. Here is all the drawing, and if we have if running, if not running, then just immediately return, and that will prevent, if the running is false, it never gets to the drawing and it never draws. And in fact, if we start it up with running false, then you can obviously see that nothing is going on. Alright, so let's control this particular variable simply by messages that come in from the start and stop buttons, in the same way that we did with clear me. If the name equals start, then we'll set running to true, and if the name equals stop, then we'll set running to false. Let's save that. Let's get it running, and now we'll press the start button, and we'll press the stop button, and we'll press the clear me button, and we can start the button. We can press the start button any number of times, it doesn't make a difference, and the stop button, and we can even, of course, clear the screen in the middle. So let's stop that and think for a moment. A quick note, where, you might ask, once you have this particular web page up, how do you get this address, which is the address of the server that has come up from the sketch executing this particular command? Well, every time the sketch is turned on, it will publish right here the web address to go to. And this is only for programs, of course, web programs on your computer talking to the web server here. With one small addition, we can actually show the messages as they come into the sketch. All we need to do is add to here a line that says BRC show messages, and run the sketch. And you can see here, as I start and stop and clear, start, stop, etc., messages are coming into the sketch from the web page, and then they are digested here and they control the animation. Alright, let's do a quick recap. If you want controls to be sent to your sketch, which you then will digest, simply add them to the rest of this template file, and every time you change the template file, also go back up to the web to go to the BRC factory file, program upload your template file and instantly get back a new PDE file, new processing file, which you should download and overwrite the old file, old BRC utilities file up here, and processing will digest the changes. Then it will be your responsibility to actually make use of the incoming information in the form of name equals value. Notice that the button names are here with random numbers after them, but we're not interested in the values of the buttons. But you can add to the template file specifications for checkboxes and sliders and radio button groups and drop downs and text input boxes, and even interesting things called monitors, which you will see in a later video.